to...
Let's see if this works. I can't see comments. Try and comment, see if I can see it.
You're 9 minutes early.
Oh, Fred. Oh, I can see comments. What's up, guys? All the YouTube viewers. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while. This is going to be totally different than what I normally do on YouTube, guys. I've been a little busy if y'all are following my Facebook. This is going to be a little bit different, Fred. It's been a long time, brother. Guys, I'm trying out something. I'm trying out this Prism. So let me know if you guys can hear me. Fred, this is going to be totally different than what you're used to, brother. It's good to see you, though. It's good to see you guys. Haha, Pepper. It's good seeing you. It's been a long time since I've been on my YouTube channel, too, guys. So, you guys share that out. I'm probably going to have to change the name of my YouTube after this. So, awesome. Awesome. It's good to see y'all. I know YouTube fam, it's been forever and a day, and I'm sorry, guys. For a little background, since I'm a little early for everybody on YouTube, it's I've been doing the convoy. We organized one of the convoys that went to DC. And, brother, it's been a minute, so I appreciate it, Fred. I'm glad this thing's working. This is awesome. I like this thing. I'm using this Prism, guys. This is pretty neat. So now I'm streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. The YouTube channel is McCartney Survival. I never changed the name of it. I wanted to see how this worked out. Fred, will you drop the link in there, brother? I'm still drinking coffee, guys. I appreciate it, Fred. I like it too, man. Kind of changed direction from the survival videos a little bit. I know it's been a while. All right, Pepper. I appreciate you jumping in and saying, hey, it's good seeing y'all. Good seeing y'all. I'm just super excited it works. Super excited. I hadn't had a lot of time keeping up on YouTube that much, but
So can you see the Facebook comments too?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Mandy's on there. This is cool. Cool. I'm liking this Prism thing, guys. I really am. Catch you later, Pepper, for sure. I'm going to be doing more of these. This is just a little bit different on the survival aspect that y'all are used to me doing. We've got to drop the link to the American Freedom Defenders convoy page in here, but Portia. It's God, that's awesome that it works though. I can see everybody's stuff in here. It's gonna be totally different on what I normally do on YouTube, guys. I hadn't touched YouTube in a while. It's been a big transition on everything since I was YouTubing, so that has happened over the last 3 weeks with all the other convoys. I did a video on that. This one's actually going to be more geared towards a little bit of what we're doing. I haven't had a chance to talk with all the leaders yet, so I don't really want to give all of my thoughts on that, because I did a live on when we were up in Ohio doing the meeting. Cheryl, how's it going? Not on Facebook at all. Yeah, we did Facebook and Truth and Rumble, and I'm gonna use, since it was already hooked up and we had people on there, I'm gonna use YouTube for a couple of different sources now, not just my survival stuff. I miss you guys. I know it's been a while since I've jumped on, so As for the other convoys, I mean, there's a lot to say, guys. There's a lot that's gone on since we started. A lot of it I talked about all throughout. I did a live on it, on what happened with what happened to us going across with when I was organizing with AFC. So it's I'm wanting everybody to get involved. I'm wanting everybody to be together, and I've said it from the start. From the start, I've said that. You can go back to all of my videos, all of my speeches in every single state we stopped at going across on the convoy. And how's it going? It has, guys. And I'm sorry. It has been a long time, and this is going to be something totally different that I don't normally do on YouTube, and I'm super glad it's happening there with this Prism app. This is pretty cool. It's going today, guys. I've been setting up a lot for this live. I want to give everybody. I've been talking a lot on how we can go about fixing what's broken in the country, guys. White Horse. Yeah, it's been a while. Once I started trucking and doing that, and then I moved from Georgia to Louisiana, and just had the girls, and I started forging Knight's Armory with Jim and Dave from Beasley Ironworks have been mentoring me in that, and it's been a good thing there. But guys, it's going to be a little bit of a mixture here. I don't know if everybody can see everybody. I know it's probably complicated to everybody. I have YouTube and I have Facebook on here, so bear with me. It is, Fred, and that's why I'm super glad we actually had a group, Truth Seekers, show me this Prism app, which is pretty neat. I'm super enjoying it. So, guys, I'm going to try and differentiate between these YouTube and Facebook comments for everybody, so everybody kind of understands what's going on. Fred, we've been involved in this since January. I've been involved since Ottawa, since back in September, November, somewhere in there, September, October. But we went across to DC, and we've all started our own way of what we want to do, with the overall goal of having everybody come together, right? Santa started 1776. We have American Freedom Defenders. You have all the other groups, all the other state groups that have popped up. What the overall plan for everybody on YouTube is, we want everybody joined together. We want all the states coming together. We did an event in Ohio, and I'll take that video and I'll post it on YouTube now that I'm doing this. I didn't even think about doing that. Appreciate it, White Horse. What we're doing, guys, is we're getting all the parenting groups, all the teaching groups, all the healthcare workers, all the oil and gas, everybody together, right? And this is for YouTube, guys. I know everybody following me on Facebook has heard me say this about 1,000 times. I started a little bit early. I'm glad I did, so that I could kind of give a quick background. We're wanting everybody, say for the teachers and the parents, if you have an issue in one county, like they do right now, by the way, guys, in Ohio, and they're doing it. They're doing what we wanted everybody to do. When we went up there and had our event, we got everybody together. We had all of the leaders. We had the voting groups. We had the Frontline Doctor Citizen Corps. We had so many. We had some elected groups, some the governor-elect, the independent that's running up there, Neil Peterson, speaking. We had a lot going on. How's it going, Richard? So, guys, I'm just real quick giving a background. I have YouTube on here too because I'm using Prism. But we have since started giving them a direction, right? So all the teachers, if there's an issue in a county with a school board, if they're all connected and coordinating with each other, instead of 20 parents coming, right, you have 2,000 from across the state. That's what we want. If there's a healthcare issue or a healthcare bill coming up in legislation, whether it be state, whether it be federal, whatever it may be, you have the entire state connected to where they can all fight the bill together. And that's what we're doing right now. Yeah, they're in Bunker Hill. They are. Santa's down there, Danny. And I'm super glad they're down there doing that. I'm glad they took up and started doing that, because I had my things to say about Peoples, which is why I did not go to Hagerstown when they all left in Dominion and went up there. I said from the beginning I wasn't going to go. So I had my reasonings for that, guys. I told everybody my reasonings. I did that on the live. Go check that live out. Exactly, Fred. And that's what we've been up to. I know, guys. Hey, Frontier. Guys, it's great seeing you guys. I'm not going to totally stop doing my survival stuff. I've had to put a pause on it for a while. I had the girls. I relocated to Louisiana. I have been driving, and now all this mess has popped up. We did the convoy. Like, it's been a lot. But I wanted the survival on my YouTube to go hand in hand with what we're doing here, because they're useful skills. Go check out Frontier. He has an awesome survival channel. Guys, knowing these skills at the same time is going to be imperative for what happens. But this one's, it's super glad. This is super hard, keeping up with Facebook. I get a little YouTube thing and a little Facebook thing. This is all new, so y'all bear with me. It can, Fred. Guys, survival it's so many things. And I'll do something specific on that later. This one's, I wanted to get on here. I had a thought yesterday when I didn't want to do a live on Memorial Day. One, I don't do a lot on Memorial Day, guys. I just don't. But I had a thought that I wanted to get out to everybody. So everybody's thinking of this problem as our government, right? That's 2:05. I'll go ahead and start. I don't know how many people's on here, any of that. So I don't know if everybody can see it on Facebook or not. But we've been looking at this problem in like a one-dimensional kind of way, right? We all went across in the convoys to gain attention. We all went across in the convoys to get people to stand up. And we accomplished that. We went in and we had our meetings in D.C., multiple committee meetings, multiple representatives, individual representatives, all kinds of senators. We had a lot. The fight was never going to get solved there, which is why we started out doing this. We knew that. But going back to, we've been thinking on a one-dimensional level, right? What if, instead of thinking that we can fix our government and saying they need to follow the Constitution, they need to follow the Constitution. Guys, we all know they're not following that. We all know they are stretching it as thin as they can go on that line to the Constitution. So, if it's not our government anymore, if it's not a government for the people like it was meant to be, why are we still looking at it as our government? What if we were to look at it as the same way they did in 1776? What if we looked at it as we're the colonists and they're the British kind of government, right? What if that happened? What mindset would that change on everybody? Because that's essentially what's happened, guys. I'm going to go over, because a lot of people don't know how the colonies actually governed. They don't know how they were governed prior to the Revolutionary War, right? When they were still colonies, when we were still 13 colonies. So I want to go into that. So guys, I'm going to be looking at the comments, but I'm going to try and get through this because you guys know me, I get sidetracked. Exactly, Fred. And this is stuff I've been doing, brother. It's stuff that we've all been up to for a while now, which is why I've been pretty quiet on YouTube, because you guys know how YouTube can be. So it's not what it's supposed to be. We all know that they're not following the Constitution. So instead of trying to force the government to follow the Constitution, I think we need to look at it in a different perspective, right? So, just as a background, because you guys know I love giving backgrounds on stuff. The way the colonies were governed prior to the Revolution, they had three types, right? They had a royal, they had a charter, and they had a proprietary, okay? They all basically kind of followed three main rules. They had a governor of sorts that was appointed by the king. If you guys have seen Sons of Liberty, you'll see that in there. That's why I like that miniseries so much. It kind of portrays what I'm talking about. It was they had a court system, and they have a governor's court, right? Now, I'm going to go over all three of these a little bit. I have my notes. I always have my notes, guys. It's a lot of information. So, we'll start with what a proprietary one is, right? It was basically lands granted to proprietors. Proprietary government. So, they had all the rights, all the governing rights, and they basically owned it and all that stuff. They established land grants. Basically, one person owned all the land, the entire state, if you will, the entire colony. And colonists bought land in pieces from this proprietor. So they had yearly land fees, tax fees, right? They could create courts, they could make laws, they could issue decrees, hear appeals, do pardons, establish churches, establish whole towns, ports, construction of public buildings, all kind of stuff like that. So it was actually a really big deal to be this person, right? The king gave you land, and that's what you did. So, before the revolution started, there were only three left. Delaware, Maine, and Pennsylvania were the three proprietaries, which made them a big deal, and it made them super dangerous, right? As we got closer to the revolution, it made the king very nervous, because that's a lot of power to a lot of people who are trying to resist what you're doing. There were more proprietaries. I think it was like 7 or 8 proprietaries. The king ended up switching those to a royal government before the revolution started because of that fear. I'll get into the royal government here in a minute. The charter was the second one. It's basically written contracts by the king and the colonist, right? They had a contract on what they were going to do. Basically defining what each was responsible for, right? They weren't supposed to change what was in that contract without the approval of both parties. We know how that turned out because we're not we're not British. So Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island were three of those. It basically had vague rights and privileges as Englishmen. It was supposed to give them the same equal opportunities as what an Englishman was. So, I keep tapping it and it shakes, guys. But, and you guys know what happened in Massachusetts, so the king basically said, "No, you're not a charter anymore. We're not doing this agreement anymore. You've overstepped what you're doing. You're a royal government now." So, it was basically just a written consent on what happened. It was a contract. The royal, and this one's the most important, guys. I want y'all to think about going over this one, how things are run now. I want everybody to understand why this last one, why it was the most common for a reason. It was what all of them were changed to, minus a handful, for a reason. And I want you to compare it to what we're going through today. And that's the royal government, right? So, governor and council was appointed by the British Crown. Okay, so the king appointed a governor, right? If you've seen Sons of Liberty, it was they had the governor who really wasn't, they basically overran him and ended up getting him pushed out to where General Gage came in and did his thing. So they had a assembly of representatives that were elected by the people. That's how the Continental Congress happened, guys. All of these had a assembly of representatives by the people. Those elected people is what ended up making up that Continental Congress, and ultimately signing that declaration. So it was places like New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. All started out as a royal government, right? The governor that was appointed by the king, right? So you have the king up here, you have all of these governors appointed who run all these people, okay? They held the ultimate power as like his little arm in the colonies. Basically had his own cabinet, right? He had a cabinet. It was influential and powerful men. Judicial and administrative powers. Sound familiar? The assembly was elected by the representatives and the citizens in the counties, right? So they had that election. Basically, there wasn't enough people, right? How's it going? How's it going, Canoe? How's it going, brother? So I need everybody to think about why that's so important and what's happening now. It was never meant to be that way, and it is now. To an extent, it is now. We know there's voter fraud. We know the elections are rigged. Not just know, we've proven it. True the Vote has proven it, guys. They've proven it to the point where they have caught murderers on cold cases. They have people singing in Arizona right now. So it's not like it's unprovable that this has happened, which in a way would make that certain people basically assigning Biden the presidency if they're going to cheat, right? So everybody's going after this government problem like it's still ours. So if we put that thought aside and thought of it as going back, that's what this whole movement has been going back, right? Going back to barbecues, going back to block parties, going back to face-to-face interaction with people. But what if we went back further and looked at it from a colonist size to British eyes, right? That's something to think about. And guys, it's a different mindset, because if you can take yourself away from the government rule, if you will, on what we can and can't do that's unconstitutional, and you look at it from this is exactly the same playbook that the British used against the colonists. They changed the rules. They went from a proprietary, people who own land, to a royal government. He could just switch that because he didn't like what was happening. He didn't like the power it gave the colonists. They did that with the voting fraud, guys. They didn't like the power that it gave because they would lose power. It's what happens all the time. So, why do we let it happen? We have the means to stop it. But maybe, just maybe, if we take our box and we break it apart to look from a different perspective. Everybody wants to fix this government. What if we took what was meant to be originally and kept it for ourselves, right? What if we took the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, had term limits, and said, that's what we do. That's our government. We're not going to follow that government that's morphed into whatever it is now. And we can do it. The states are sovereign for a reason. Not just from the WHO. The states are sovereign from the federal government for a reason. The Founding Fathers knew this was going to be a problem. They knew corruption was going to be an issue. Otherwise, we wouldn't have different states. We would all be one giant country under one government like that, right? They didn't want that because that was the monarch, right? They didn't want to have that. They wanted the people to have their own say. So what if we called the states together? What if we called them all and said, you know what? Don't fix that government. We want our own. What would happen to the swamp then? What would happen if we just said no? Guess what? Guys, that's Article 5 in the Constitution. We don't have to change a thing calling the Convention of States. Oh, brother. Well, take it easy, Dennis. Love seeing you, brother. So, exactly, Fred. And that's what we've been saying. But if people start to look at it, the biggest fear in an Article 5 is that they're going to entirely rewrite what the Constitution says. What if instead we kept the Constitution and got rid of the people on Capitol Hill by saying, we're agreeing to this as states, and we just don't want to follow what you're doing because we know it's wrong. So what if we just keep our Constitution, we keep our Bill of Rights, we add freaking term limits because we know better now. We add in that we make sure our medical freedom is sovereign, that we can choose It is, Tammy. It is. It's what Santa's wanting to do. But it's why I've been trying to get a hold of him, too. Guys, this is why it can't be one group. I don't care what group you are. I don't care what convoy you organized. I don't care who you are in that convoy. This can't be done by one group. No glory, no fame, nothing is going to make this happen by one group. And the sooner the leaders of all these groups realize that, the sooner the American people are going to be better off. Is everybody willing to work together for the people, get over whatever squabbles is going on and whatever bullshit, to make sure the American people are taken care of? It's not about the leaders. It's not about the people heading anything up. It's about the reason we're doing it in the first place. We can't forget that. It's not about Republicans. It's not about Democrats. Guys, I've been fielding... There's been comments up and down on some of those posts on that page. Talking about, oh, it's just Trump stuff. This has nothing to do with Trump. For any Democrat that wants to talk to me, I will talk. Any Republican that doesn't, I will talk. Because it's not an argument. People don't know how to debate a topic anymore. That was also taken out of schools. So what if kids could learn without parents being worried they're going to go to jail for not sending their kids to school the same way they used to? What if the communities got together and paid the teachers to teach the kids? You guys know it's proven that if you have all grade levels in the same room learning, the younger levels learn a lot faster because they're watching. They're sponges, guys. Kids are freaking sponges. Good, bad, and different. They're sponges. We have to do it together. If you don't believe that they're not going back to a royal government where they appoint who they want, and we are the colonists having to deal with it, I implore you to research it and talk to me about it. George Washington did warn us, two-party system. If you guys haven't looked up what it takes to become a national party in the United States right now, I suggest everybody go take a look at that too. Also, something to look at. This is a couple of things off topic because I kind of finished that part. But I've seen it going around and I've commented on a few. 2021 coin quarter and the 2022 quarter face left and face right. Guys, everybody's talking about it facing against we the people. 2000s, George Washington still faced to the left and faced against In God We Trust. Just saying. It's not about the fact that he's facing against In God We Trust. It's the fact that he's facing in the opposite direction. Charles II, it was a tradition at least from that time. From the British monarchs, every successful monarch would switch the coins. Every time. Every time a new monarch took position, they'd switch. Left, right, left, right. They still do it. It's a really good read. You guys should look it up. Why all of a sudden is George Washington facing to the right? And looking not like the one we've had for centuries. We've had him looking that way for a while. Hey, brother, how's it going? it's something to look at. The reasoning makes all the sense in the world if you look at that tradition. Going back to why, we need to look at the government like we're a colony, not like it's ours. So, look up the tradition of why they switch directions. That's the most important part of this coin. It will amaze you. It'll amaze some. Some people will be like, well, hell, shit. Knew it. There it is. Super interesting, though. Changed the entire look of George Washington. And flipped which way he faces. The only reason the penny faces to the right is because that was the only portrait they had to make a coin out of. But he's never switched sides. Know the history, and you can find out what they're doing. Britain tried it. Rome tried it. They tried to control the world. Now the U.S. has their hand in trying to do it. We can't let them. But to not let them, you have to know the history. To know the history, you got to research. We can't do this without being together. I don't care what group, what fights, what's happened throughout these convoys, throughout any of it. The people won't stand a chance if we don't stand together. Point blank, that's how the Revolutionary War was won. It's how we've always done things. Without everybody, behind everybody, we won't win. It's the truth, guys. I don't care what leaders are out there who are going to contradict what I'm saying. I don't care anybody who has a beef with whatever the hell I've done throughout this convoy. I've spoken the same words the entire way. From Weatherford, Texas to Dominion, Virginia. And every speech since. It has to be done together. If we're going to let squabbles get in the way of the mission, we're not going to win. And this is a fight we can't lose. I want everybody together. How's it going, Bam? Do a piece on NWO. I can look into that, Tammy, for sure. It's something I've been needing to look into anyway. Oh, and for the record, guys, they did table all of the amendments for the WHO. They were tabled. They're making a committee in November. Nothing's going to be put in place. Not yet. Michelle Bachmann is a very, very good source for anything on the WHO. She is way more knowledgeable than I am on what's going on. She's more than involved in it. And she's a really good person to look up and follow as far as the WHO goes. As far as I'm aware, and as far as I've researched, they have not been able to pass anything. And they tabled everything. But the World Economic Forum is a good watch, considering they're telling everybody exactly what they want done. CEO of Nokia was talking about in 2030 how we're not going to even need phones. They're all going to be like inputted into our bodies. You know, it's stuff like that. So, I can't stress it enough, guys. I can't stress it enough. I don't care who the leaders are. We're not going to take over groups, because that's a worry for some random ass reason that people have. We want the groups working together, giving the same message, because people don't know the message. The message is we have to work together. You have to be together to make something happen. If you go into a meeting by yourself, you're not going to get as much done as if you bring the entire damn state with you. How do you do that? You talk to people, guys. If everybody needs a step-by-step on what I'm talking about, you literally get barbecues. Go to parks. Talk with your friends. Get a game plan on what bills to talk about. Everybody has different connections than the next person. Come together and use the connections together to connect with more people. So you're doing a barbecue. Next week, somebody else, a friend of a friend, does a barbecue and has all those people. Guys, that's how it's done. That's how they did it in the Revolutionary War. That's why they made social media, because people don't know how to do that anymore. It's what has to be done. It's the only way to do it. Everybody complains about this being censored. It is. What's a way around that? Do face-to-face meetings with each other. They can't censor that. They can't censor you face-to-face with a group of people. They can't censor your barbecues. They tried. Guess what we did? No, we're going to cook out and we're going to have barbecues. That's why they shut down bars. I don't know about you guys, but the way to find out information is to go to a bar and find the drunkest person there. They will tell you anything. Anything. So, that's why they shut it down, though. That's why they didn't want gatherings of more than 5 people at a time. Same thing the British did before the Revolutionary War started. Search and seizure of the homes. Making sure people didn't gather. Putting curfews in place. Not letting you leave the city. It's been a step-by-step process since the 1800s. I said it with all of the school shootings. You have to grassroots this. You have to. If you don't, they will censor it. Everybody wants a step-by-step. If I haven't given it to you guys, let me know. Literally, get together. Have living room parties. Watch the game and talk a little bit about what's going on in the world. Look at the bills they're passing. It would amaze you at what they're doing without the people wanting them to do it, which changes the entire purpose for a constitutional republic. It's not what we are anymore. It's what they never wanted us to be. We want the connections so that we can come out and do events with everybody and be face-to-face with everybody. We want everybody together doing this. So if you guys are starting events, work together. If you're in the same state, everybody drop their states in here. Even in here, message each other. Say, hey, look, I'm in this area. I'm in this area. Start there. Start by doing a barbecue, saying, hey, look, this is what's in a school board. Hey, look, this is what's going on in the state. This is the laws they're about to pass. What can we do about this? Okay, let's go in and let's see the author of this bill. Let's call them. All of us at one time go to a meeting with them. All of us go to the governor meeting. We all can do it together. We can't do it separated. That's what they've done to us, though. They've separated us. So, let's take it back. Awesome, brother. I was just out there, man. Article 5 will take the swamp's power away. Article 6 will call their oaths into question. But what if we don't want to be a part of what the swamp's doing anymore? What if we want the original government we thought we had back? So, if you guys are wanting what we were supposed to have back, we have to come together. Look up what COS states have passed it. Look which ones are in a chamber. Look which ones are actually on the ballot for 2022, guys. We have a little bit of time with who not doing those amendments. We don't have as much as everybody thinks. Everybody on my streams, I hope you guys are talking together. I hope you guys are all talking together. Because once we have everybody, the groups are already made. They're already in the states, guys. They're already there. It takes legwork to get to them. It takes legwork to make your own. But we've wasted way too much time already. So what happens if we have everybody together in all the states and a federal bill comes up? What if we all went? Not to protest. What if we all swarmed every author and co-author of that bill, the committees that are responsible for that bill, and we swamped DC with meetings? What if we made our government our own again? There are states that don't have the application for a resolution signed yet. The fear is that it's going to rewrite everything the U.S. stands for. Did you guys know Congress could end Biden's power right now? Declaration of emergency powers can be ended by Congress. Term limits can be done by Congress. They can make that amendment. They choose not to. And y'all still think they are in it for us? They could end the WHO right now. Are they in it for us? Or can we get every state to sign the application of resolution to convene these states and say no damn more? Again, I'm going to tell you guys, the governor can call a special session to make them decide on that application. They can't hide that application anymore. Pressure the governor. Pressure the state representatives. The states are the ones to go after. They have the power, not DC. DC wants you to believe otherwise. They're wrong. Meet with the Meet with the Democrats, meet with the Republicans, meet with everybody. We can do it. And if the representatives don't help, pressure the governor. He can call a special session and in his proclamation state exactly what they're voting on, exactly what has to be decided. Not only is that going to tell you who is for the people, it's going to tell you what their interests are. The states all have the applications, guys. That application for a resolution is in every state already. They're all the same. They all are wanting to limit fiscal power, the fiscal spending, limit jurisdiction for the federal government, and put in term limits. Us making sure that we have our old Constitution back and not this made up POS that they put in place. That's number 2. Limiting their jurisdictional power. It's in the application. All we need is for them to pass it. Voting is important, guys. The more we got to vote, regardless if it's rigged or not. Guess what? If you have 100% registered voters actually vote instead of 50, they can take that other 50, say they voted, and cheat. It makes it a lot freaking harder if everybody votes. It may not change anything. I'm not going to sit here and promise you it will. But I will tell you right now that it's going to make it so much harder for it to be changed. Fred, in Pennsylvania, you guys, I like the way they did it. If you guys go look at Pennsylvania's primaries, look at how many mail-in ballots the Democrats had and how many mail-in ballots the Republicans had. Just a little side note. You can see it. Pennsylvania's really cool about showing that. Changes everything when you look at that. So, I hope I gave everybody a step-by-step. I'm going to jump off of here. But, guys, we're the colonists all over again. We're the colonists all over again. Why don't we start thinking like we are? And fix it from there. Just food for thought. Alright guys, it's great seeing y'all, especially everybody on YouTube. I know it kind of sounded like I was bouncing back and forth. I hope this thing went over great, guys. Y'all have a wonderful day. Think on what I said. Don't take anything in my live for what I say. Research it yourself. Get together with friends, get together with family, get together with strangers. It doesn't matter. Let's make this happen. You guys have questions, you can talk to me, you can message me, all that stuff. So, I think my email's still on my YouTube, so if not, I'll put it on there. But, alright, you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.